Now folks, it is likely that there will be meetings on a fourth stimulus payment in Congress this week, and there are now 11 Republican senators that support a bipartisan infrastructure deal. We have a lot of news to cover in today's video, so welcome back to my channel everybody, and hope all of you guys are having a great day so far. Before we get into the video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share this video with your friends and family. Alright everybody, so 11 Republican senators said that they have agreed on this infrastructure deal crafted by a group of 20 senators from both parties, meaning that the Senate could advance a measure without resorting to the reconciliation process, which would have enabled the bill to pass without any Republican votes, if all the Democrats voted for it.
Good morning, everyone, and a good morning it is. It is one filled with joy and pride as the Congress takes this overdue action to declare Juneteenth a national holiday.
Well, I think all of you surely know how all Republicans feel about this proposal. It's a solution in search of a problem.
However, it is unclear whether this new measure will receive sufficient support from Democratic senators who have raised concerns about funding for the bill, in the exclusion of other priorities, such as climate-related infrastructure. In a statement, a group of 20 senators said, "We support this bipartisan framework that provides an historic investment in our nation's core infrastructure needs without raising taxes. We look forward to working with our Republican and Democratic colleagues to develop legislation based on this framework to address America's critical infrastructure challenges." But the senators did not release any details about the breakdown of the bill or how it will be funded. The group includes Republican Senators Bill Cassidy, Susan Collins, Lindsey Graham, and Mitt Romney, as well as Democratic Senators Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema. A smaller bipartisan group of senators announced last week that they reached an agreement for a proposal that would include $579 billion in new spending over 5 years. The deal was agreed upon by a larger group on Wednesday, and this is significantly less than President Biden's $1.7 trillion proposal, a slimmed-down version of his initial $2.3 trillion offer. The statement from the bipartisan group came as Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer met with Senate Budget Committee Democrats to discuss a budget resolution, and this would begin the process of moving elements of President Biden's broader infrastructure agenda through reconciliation. And that is going to require a simple majority to pass the legislation, instead of a 60-vote threshold. Following the meeting, Chuck Schumer said it was a great first discussion, and I'm really happy to hear that lawmakers are very close to finally reaching a deal on infrastructure. Schumer told reporters, "I think there was a universal agreement. We have a lot of things we have to do to help out the American people, and we have to have unity to do it, and everyone has to listen to one another, and it was a good first meeting." Democratic Senator Tim Kaine, a member of the Budget Committee, noted that the Democratic Committee members are unified to produce a budget instruction with options. The senator stated, "We're going to put together a vigorous instruction that gives us a latitude to do what we need to do. We could shrink it if there's a bipartisan deal. We could do the broader deal if there's not." Now Schumer is meeting with several moderate Democrats to discuss the details of the bipartisan proposal later on today. Democrats are mulling including provisions in the budget resolution related to climate and caregiving, meaning human infrastructure like childcare, healthcare, and education. The Senate could then pass both the bipartisan bill with support from Republicans, and then a measure including their other infrastructure priorities through reconciliation. Senator Bernie Sanders, who has expressed opposition to the bipartisan bill, said that Democratic leadership was considering a reconciliation bill that could cost up to $6 trillion. Any bipartisan bill would need universal support from all Democrats in the Senate, given the narrow Democratic majority. Democrats only hold 50 seats, meaning they would need every Democrat to back it, and support from at least 10 Republicans to meet the 60-vote threshold to advance a bill. Moving forward with reconciliation would require the support of all 50 Democrats, and that is not a guarantee. Senators like Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, who are part of the bipartisan group negotiating a deal, have some disagreements about the stimulus package, everybody. Now Congress is in session this week for the first time since May 20th. A lot of progress will definitely be made on infrastructure, stimulus checks, and additional financial relief. Several developments since the last congressional session could help strengthen the argument for a fourth stimulus check. And that includes a new study from the University of Michigan that showed the number of households with children reporting food shortages and financial instability dropped by between 20 and 42% from January to April. So folks, that is all the news in this video. If any of you guys found this video useful and helpful, Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and give this video a like.
Which is the Puerto Rico Self-Determination Act. And as was noted by one of our witnesses, self-determination is a human right. I believe that this legislation is the best answer to the centuries-old question of Puerto Rico's status and colonial history. I'm pleased that in the Department of Justice's analysis of our bill, they conclude that Puerto Rico as an island does in fact have a right to a fair and democratic self-determination process. And that one-sided initiatives fail to grant Puerto Ricans this outcome. However, I want to be clear that a true decolonization process exempts the current territorial status. With that said, I just want to clear up some mythologies and around this bill. So to Dr. Cox Alomar, very quickly as a yes or no, have former statehood plebiscites and referendums in Puerto Rico, have they been plagued historically by electoral irregularities, inaccuracies, and or have been unilaterally influenced by one party?
And the answer is yes.
So would a constitutional assembly be the most inclusive, democratic, and just process, given that history of irregularity and bias? Would a constitutional assembly be the most just process for the decolonization of Puerto Rico, in your view?
Definitely yes. And I actually invite you to take a look at the White House Task Force Report of 2011, which basically suggests that the convention is the most encompassing process.
Thank you. Now, additionally, in our self-determination bill, does the bill oppose statehood?
No.
No, our bill does not oppose statehood whatsoever. And does this bill, on the other side too, does it impose independence necessarily on the island?
And the answer is no.
No, it is status agnostic, and it is focused on the process. Now let's contrast that with the statehood bill. Would on the Puerto Rico Statehood Admission Act, if passed, would it admit Puerto Rico immediately to the United States as its supporters claim?
And the answer is no. And the DOJ has says there's no fait accompli. This is no done deal. I mean, it's pretty clear.
This bill will not admit, if passed, will not immediately admit Puerto Rico as a state. Now, would this, in your expert opinion, can voters legitimately exercise their right to self-determination without knowing fully the options that they are voting for?
And the answer is no. Take a look at Brexit.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think that is a wonderful example of the situation that voters are in, where they had a status vote, were not fully informed, and many of them regret what's happening. Now, on that note, do you believe